Hello, and welcome to Shakespeare 2020 LA. Shakespeare 2020 LA is the Los Angeles division of Shakespeare Project 2020, a worldwide challenge created by Ian Dusher to read the entire Shakespeare canon in 2020. Shakespeare 2020 is comprised of Los Angeles local professional actors, and through the magic of Zoom, we're excited to include our friends from back east. Our reading today is the Two Noble Kinsmen, and our players are Jason Rennie, Christopher Carbo, Taylor Marr, Megan Wells, Elise Ashton, Richard Connolly, Ron Dorn, Dave Demke, Emily Redman Hall, J.D. Mata, Julie Measley Grossman, Elizabeth Juvenal, Hadley Hulka, Nancy Pasquale, and I'm Mary Carrig. The only authority for the Two Noble Kinsmen is the Quarto, published in 1634, in which the play is ascribed to the memorable worthies of their time, Mr. John Fletcher, who gets top billing, and Mr. William Shakespeare, gentleman. All later editions are derived from that source. Most scholars ascribe Act 1 to almost Act 2 to Shakespeare, and they alternate Fletcher, Shakespeare, Fletcher, Shakespeare, and Fletcher is given credit for the prologue and the epilogue. The story itself comes from Chaucer's Knight's Tale. Shakespeare drew on this tale earlier in A Midsummer Night's Dream. Here again, we have preparations for the wedding of Theseus and Hippolyta. This time it's stalled by the entrance of the three widowed queens, reminiscent of Antigone, begging Theseus for permission to bury their fallen kings. Despite the heavy opening act, things lighten up with acts of chivalry, spectacle, and wooing. And a plethora of well-developed female characters tells us that Shakespeare's company, the Kingsmen, would have really had solid boy or male actors, young male actors, to take on those roles. And there's no short of a discussion in this play of what constitutes a soulmate and desire versus duty. So settle back in your familiar easy chair and please enjoy William Shakespeare's The Two Noble Kinsmen.
New plays and maidenheads are near akin. Much followed both, and for both much money given, if they stand sound and well. And a good play, whose modest scenes blush on his marriage day and shake to lose his honour, is like her that after holy tie and first night stir, yet still is modesty, and still retains more of the maid to sight than husband's pains. We pray our play may be so, for I am sure it has a noble breeder, and a pure, a learned, and a poet never went more famous yet, twixt Poe and Silver Trent. Chaucer, of all admired, this story gives. There, constant to eternity, it lives. If we let fall the nobleness of this, and the first sound this child hear be a hiss, how will it shake the bones of that good man, and make him cry from underground, "Oh, fan from me the witless chaff of such a writer that blasts my bays and my famed works makes lighter than Robin Hood." This is the fear we bring. For, to say truth, it were an endless thing, and too ambitious to aspire to him, weak as we are, and almost breathless, swim in this deep water. Do but you hold out your helping hands, and we shall tack about and something do to save us. You shall hear scenes, though below his art, may yet appear worth 2 hours' travel. To his bones, sweet sleep. Content to you. If this play do not keep a little dull time from us, we perceive our losses fall so thick, we must needs leave.
Act 1, Scene 1. Athens, before a temple.
A
grand procession. Hymen enters with a torch burning, a boy in a white robe before, singing and strewing flowers. After Hymen, then Theseus, between two nymphs, with wheaten chaplets on their heads, then Pirithous, leading Hippolyta, the bride, and after her, Amelia, holding up her train. Then, Artesius.
Roses their sharp spines being gone, not royal in their smells alone, but in their hue. Maidens pinks of odors fade, daisies smell less, yes, most quaint, and sweet time true. Primrose firstborn child of her, merry springtime's harbinger, with her bells dim. Ox lips in their cradles growing, marigolds on deathbeds blowing, lark's eels trim. All dear nature's children sweet, lie for bride and bridegroom's feet, blessing their scents. Not an angel of the air, bird melodious or bird fair, is absent hence. The crow, the slanderous cuckoo, nor the brooding raven, nor chough whore, nor chattering pie may on our pride house perch or sing, or with them any discord bring, but from it fly.
For pity's sake and true gentilities, hear and respect me.
For your mother's sake, and as you wish your womb may thrive with fair ones, hear and respect me.
Now for the love of him whom Jove hath marked the honor of your bed, and for the sake of clear virginity, be advocate for us in our distresses. This good deed shall raise you out of the book of trespasses. All you are set down there.
Sad lady, rise.
Stand up. No knees to me. What woman I may stead that is distressed doth bind me to her?
What's your request? Deliver you for all.
We are three queens whose sovereigns fell before the wrath of cruel Creon, who endured the beaks of ravens, talons of the kites, and pecks of crows in the foul fields of Thebes. He will not suffer us to burn their bones, to earn their ashes, nor to take the offense of mortal loathsomeness from the blessed eye of holy Phoebus, but infects the winds with stench of our slain lords. Oh, pity, Duke! Thou purger of the earth, draw thy feared sword that does good turns to the world. Give us the bones of our dead kings, that we may chapel them. And of thy boundless goodness take some note, that for our crowned heads we have no roof save this, which is the lions and the bears, and vault to everything.
Pray you, kneel not. I was transported with your speech and suffered your knees to wrong themselves. I have heard the fortunes of your dead lords, which gives me such lamenting as wakes my vengeance and revenge for 'em. King Capaneus was your lord. The day that he should marry you at such a season as now it is with me, I met your groom by Mars's altar. You were that time fair, not Juno's mantle fairer than your tresses, nor in bounty spread her. Your wheaten wreath was then nor threshed nor blasted. Fortune at you dimpled her cheeks with smiles. Hercules, our kinsman, then weaker than your eyes, laid by his club. He tumbled down upon his Nemean hide and swore his sinews thawed. Oh, grief and time, fearful consumers, you will all devour.
Oh, I hope some God hath put mercy in your manhood, whereto he'll infuse power and press you forth our undertaker.
Oh, no knees, none, widow. Unto the helmeted Bellona use them, and pray for me, your soldier. Troubled I am.
Honored Hippolyta, most dreaded Amazonian, that hath slain the scythe-touched boar, that with thy arm, as strong as it is white, was near to make the male to thy sex captive, that this thy lord, born to uphold creation in that honor, first nature styled in it. Shrunk thee into the bound, thou wast o'erflowing, at once subduing thy force and thy affection. Soldieress, that equally canst poise sternness with pity, whom now I know has much more power on him than ever he had on thee, who owest his strength and his love too, who is a servant for the tenor of thy speech, dear glass of ladies. Bid him that we, whom flaming war does scorch, under the shadow of his sword may cool us. Require him he advance it o'er our heads. Speak it in a woman's key, like such a woman as any of us three. Weep ere you fail. Lend us a knee. Touch the ground for us no longer time than a dove's motion when the head's plucked off. Tell him, if he in the blood-sized field lay swollen, showing the sun his teeth, grinning at the moon, what you would do.
Poor lady, say no more. I had as lief trace this good action with you as that whereto I am going, and never yet went I so willing away. My lord is taken heart deep with your distress. Let him consider. I'll speak anon.
Oh, my petition was set down in ice, which by hot grief uncandied melts into drops. So sorrow, wanting form, is pressed with deeper matter.
Pray stand up. Your grief is written in your cheek.
Oh, woe, you cannot read it there. There through my tears, like wrinkled pebbles in a glassy stream, you may behold them. Lady, lady, alack! He that will all the treasure know of the earth must know the center too. He that will fish for my least minnow, let him lead his line to catch one at my heart. Oh, pardon me, extremity that sharpens sundry wits, makes me a fool.
Pray you say nothing, pray you. Who cannot feel nor see the rain being in its meals neither wet nor dry. If that you were the grounds piece of some painter, I would buy you to instruct me against a capital grief. Indeed, such heart-pierced demonstration, but alas, being a natural sister of our sex, your sorrow beats so ardently upon me that it shall make me a counter-reflect against my brother's heart and warm it to some pity, though it were made of stone. Pray have good comfort.
Forward to the temple, leave not out a jot of the ceremony.
Oh, this celebration will longer last and be more costly than your suppliants' war. Remember that your fame knolls in the ears of the world. What you do quickly is not done rashly. Your first thought is more than others' labor's medians. You're premeditating more than their actions. But oh, Jove, your actions, soon as they move, as ospreys do the fish, subdue what they touch. Think, dear Duke, think what beds our slain kings have.
What Greece are beds that our dear lords have none.
None fit for the dead, those that with cords, knives, drams, precipitants, weary of this world's light, have to themselves been death's most horrid agents. Human grace affords them dust and shadow.
But our lords lie blistering for the visitating sun, and were good kings when living.
It is true, and I will give you comfort to give your dead lords graves, the which to do must make some work with Creon.
That work presents itself to the dewing. Now 'twill take form. The heats are gone tomorrow. Then bootless toil must recompense itself with its own sweat. Now he's secure. Not dreams we stand before your puissance, rinsing our holy begging in our eyes to make petition clear.
Now you may take him, drunk with his victory.
And his army full of bread and sloth.
Artesius, that best knowest how to draw out fit to this enterprise, the primst for this proceeding, and the number to carry such a business. Forth and levy our worthiest instruments, whilst we dispatch this grandest act of our life, this daring deed of fate in wedlock.
Dowagers, take hands. Let us be widows to our woes. Delay commends us to a famishing hope.
Farewell. We come unseasonably. But when could grief call forth as unpanged judgment can? Fittest time for best solicitation.
Why, good ladies, this is a service whereto I am going greater than any was. It more imports me than all the actions that I have foregone or futurely can cope.
The more proclaiming our suit shall be neglected when her arms, able to lock Jove from a synod, shall by warranting moonlight corselet thee. Oh, when her twinning cherries shall their sweetness fall upon thy tasteful lips, what wilt thou think of rotten kings or blubbered queens? What care for what thou feelst not? What thou feelst being able to make Mars spurn his drum? Oh, if thou couch by one night with her every hour, and it will take hostage of thee for 100, and thou shalt remember nothing more than what that banquet bids thee to.
Though much unlike you should be so transported, as much sorry I should be such a suitor, yet I think, did I not, by the staining of my joy, which breeds a deeper longing, cure their surfeit that craves the present medicine, I should pluck all ladies' scandal on me. Therefore, sir, as I shall here make trial of my prayers, either presuming them to have some force, or sentencing for aye their vigor dumb, prorogue this business we are going about, and hang your shield afore your heart about that neck which is my fee, and which I freely lend to do these poor queens service.
Oh, help now. Our cause cries for your knees.
If you grant not my sister her petition in that force, with that celerity and nature which she makes it in, from henceforth I'll not dare to ask you anything, nor be so hardy ever to take a husband.
Pray, stand up. I am entreating of myself to do that which you kneel to have. Pirithous, lead on the bride, get you, and pray the gods for success and return. Omit not anything in the pretended celebration. Queens, follow your soldier. As before, hence you, and at the banks of Aulis meet us with the forces you can raise, where we shall find the moiety of a number for a business more bigger looked. Since that our theme is haste, I stamp this kiss upon thy current lip. Sweet, keep it as a token. Set you forward, for I will see you gone. Farewell, my beauteous sister. Pirithous, keep the feast full, bait not an hour on it.
I'll follow you at heels. The feast solemnity shall want till your return.
Cousin, I charge you, budge not from Athens. We shall be returning ere you can end this feast, of which I pray you, make no abatement once more. Farewell, all.
Dost thou still make good the tongue of the world?
And earnest a deity equal with Mars.
If not above him, for thou, being but mortal, makest affections bend to godlike honors. They themselves, some say, groan under such a mastery.
As we are men, thus should we do. Being sensually subdued, we lose our human title. Good cheer, ladies. Now turn we towards your comforts.
Act 1, Scene 2. Thebes, a courtyard in the palace. Enter Palamon and Archite.
Dear Palamon, dearer in love than blood, and our prime cousin, yet unhardened in the crimes of nature, let us leave the city Thebes and the temptings in it before we further sully our gloss of youth, and here to keep the abstinence we shame as in incontinence. For not to swim in the aid of the current were almost to sink, at least to frustrate striving, and to follow the common stream, 'twould bring us to an eddy where we should turn or drown, if labor through our gain but life and weakness.
Your advice is cried up with example. What strange ruins, since first we went to school, may we perceive walking in Thebes? Scars and bare weeds, the gain of the martialist, who did propound to his bold ends honor and golden ingots, which, though he won, he had not, and now flirted by peace for whom he fought. Who then shall offer to Mars so scorned altar? I do bleed when such I meet, and wish great Juno would resume her ancient fit of jealousy to get the soldier work, that peace might purge for her repletion, and retain anew her charitable heart, now hard and harsher than strife or war could be.
Are you not out? Meet you no ruin but the soldier in the cranks and turns of Thebes? You did begin as if you met decays of many kinds. Perceive you none that do arouse your pity but the unconsidered soldier?
Yes, I pity decays where I find them, but such most that, sweating in an honorable toil, are paid with ice to cool them.
'Tis not this I did begin to speak of. This is virtue of no respect in thieves. I spake of Thebes. How dangerous, if we will keep our honors, it is for our residing, where every evil hath a good color, where every seeming good's a certain evil, where not to be even jump, as they are here, were to be strangers, and such things to be mere monsters.
'Tis in our power, unless we fear that apes can tutor us, to be masters of our manners. What need I affect another's gait, which is not catching where there is faith? Or to be fond upon another's way of speech, when by mine own I may be reasonably conceived, saved too, speaking it truly. Why am I bound by any generous bond to follow him follows his tailor, haply so long until the followed make pursuit? Or let me know why mine own barber is unblessed, with him my poor chin too, for 'tis not scissored just to such a favourite's glass. What cannon is there that does command my rapier from my hip to dangle 't in my hand, or to go tiptoe before the street be foul? Either I am the fore-horse in the team, or I am none that draw in the secret race. These poor slight sores need not a plantain, that which rips my bosom almost to the heart.
Our Uncle Creon.
He, a most unbounded tyrant, whose successes makes heaven unfeared and villainy assured beyond its power, there's nothing, almost puts faith in a fever, and deifies alone voluble chance, who only attributes the faculties of other instruments to his own nerves and act, commands men service, and when they win it, boot and glory. One that fears not to do harm, good dares not. Let the blood of mine that sib to him be sucked from me with leeches. Let them break and fall off me with that corruption.
Clear-spirited cousin, let's leave his court that we may nothing share of his loud infamy. For our milk will relish of the pasture, and we must be vile or disobedient. Not his kinsman in blood unless in quality.
Nothing truer. I think the echoes of his shames have deafened the ears of heavenly justice. Widows' cries descend again into their throats and have not due audience of the gods. Yes.
King calls for you, yet be leaden-footed till his great rage be off him. Phoebus, when he broke up his whipstock and exclaimed against the horses of the sun, whispered to the loudness of his fury.
Small winds shake him. But what's the matter?
Theseus, who where he threats appalls, hath sent deadly defiance to him, and pronounces ruin to Thebes, who is at hand to seal the promise of his wrath.
Let him approach, but that we fear the gods in him, he brings not a jot of terror to us. Yet what man thirds his own worth? The case is each of ours. When that his actions dregged with mind assured, 'tis bad he goes about?
Leave that unreasoned. Our services stand now for Thebes, not Creon. Yet to be neutral to him were dishonor, rebellious to oppose. Therefore we must with him stand to the mercy of our fate, who hath bounded our last minute.
So we must. Is it said that war's afoot, or shall it be on fail of some condition?
Is in motion. The intelligence of state came in the instant to fire.
That's to the king, who, were he a quarter carrier of that honor which his enemy come in, the blood we venture should be as for our health, which were not spent, rather laid out for purchase. But alas, our hands advanced before our hearts. What will the fall of the stroke do damage?
Let the event, that never-erring arbitrator, tell us, when we know all ourselves, and let us follow the beckoning of our chance.
1, Scene 3. Before the gates of Athens. Enter Pirithous, Hippolyta, and Amelia.
No further.
Sir, farewell. Repeat my wishes to our great lord, of whose success I dare not make any timorous question. Yet I wish him excess and overflow of power, and it might be, to your ill-dealing fortune. Speed to him. Store never hurts good governors.
Though I know his oceans need not my poor drops, yet they must yield their tribute there. My precious maid, those best affections that the heavens infuse in their best tempered pieces keep enthroned in your dear heart.
Thanks, sir. Remember me to our all-royal brother, for whose speed the great Bellona I'll solicit, and since in our tarrying state petitions are not without gifts understood, I'll offer to her what I shall be advised she likes. Our hearts are in his army, in his tent.
In his bosom. We have been soldiers, and we cannot weep when our friends don their helms or are put to sea, or tell of babes broached on the lance, or women that have sawed their infants in and later ate them, the brine they wept at killing them. Then if you stay to see each of us such spinsters, we should hold you here forever.
Peace be to you as I pursue this war, which shall be then beyond further requiring.
How his longing follows his friend. Since his depart, his sports, though craving seriousness and skill, passed slightly his careless execution, where nor gain made him regard, or loss consider, but playing one business in his hand, another directing in his head, his mind nurse equal to these so differing twins. Have you observed him since our great lord departed?
With much labor, and I did love him for it. They too have cabined in many as dangerous as poor a corner, peril and want contending. They have skiffed torrents whose roaring tyranny and power, the least of these was dreadful, and they have fought out together where death's self was lodged. Yet fate had brought them off. Their knot of love, tied, weaved, entangled with so true, so long, and with a finger of so deep a cunning, maybe outworn, never undone. I think Theseus cannot be umpire to himself, cleaving his conscience into twain and doing each side like justice, which he loves best.
Doubtless there is a best, and reason has no manners to say it is not you. I was acquainted once with a time when I enjoyed a playfellow. You were at wars when she the grave enriched, who made too proud the bed, took leave of the moon, which then looked pale at parting, when our count was each 11.
'Twas Flavina.
Yes. You talk of Pirithous and Theseus' love. Theirs has more ground, is more maturely seasoned, more buckled with strong judgment, and their needs the one of the other may be said to water their intertangled roots of love. But I, and she I sigh and spoke of, were things innocent, loved for we did, and like the elements that know not what nor why, yet do effect rare issues by their operance, our souls did so to one another. What she liked was then of me approved, what not condemned, no more arraignment. The flower that I would pluck and put between my breasts, oh, then but beginning to swell about the blossom, she would long till she had such another, and commit it to the like innocent cradle where Phoenix-like they died in perfume. On my head no toy but was her pattern, her affections, pretty though haply hers careless word, I followed for my most serious decking. Had mine ear stolen some new air, or at adventure hummed one for musical coinage, why, it was a note whereon her spirits would sojourn, rather dwell on and sing in her slumbers. This rehearsal, which fury innocent wots well comes in like old importment's bastard, has this end, that the true love tween maid and maid may be more than in sex individual.
You're out of breath, and this high-speeded pace is but to say that you shall never, like the maid Flavina, love any that's called man.
I'm sure I shall not.
No, alack, O weak sister, I must no more believe thee in this point, though in it I know thou dost believe thyself. Then I will trust a sickly appetite that loathes even as it longs. But sure, my sister, if I were right for your persuasion, you have said enough to shake me from the arm of the all-noble Theseus, for whose fortunes I will now in and kneel, with great assurance that we, more than his Pirithous, possess the high throne in his heart.
I am not against your faith, yet I continue mine.
Act 1, Scene 4, the battlefield before Thebes. Enter Theseus, victorious, accompanied by his army. The three queens meet him.
To thee no star be dark.
Heaven and earth friend thee forever.
All the good that may be wished upon thy head, I cry amen to it.
The impartial gods who from the mounted heavens view their mortal herd, behold who err, and in their time chastise. Go and find out the bones of your dead lords and honor them with treble ceremony. Rather than a gap should be in their dear rights, we would supply it. But those we will depute which shall invest you in your dignities, and even each thing our haste does leave imperfect. So adieu, and heaven's good eyes look on you. What are those?
Men of great quality, as may be judged by their appointment. Some of Thebes have told us they are sisters' children, nephews to the king.
By the helm of Mars, I saw them in the war, like to a pair of lions smeared with prey, make lanes in troops aghast. I fixed my note constantly on them, for they were a mark worth a god's view. What prisoner was that told me when I inquired their names?
With leave, they are called Archite and Palamon.
'Tis right, those. They are not dead?
Nor in a state of life. Had they been taken when their last hurts were given, 'twas possible they might have been recovered. Yet they breathe and have the name of men.
Then like men use them. The very less of such millions of rates exceed the wine of others. All our surgeons convent in their behoof, our richest balms rather than niggard waste. Their lives concern us much more than Thebes is worth. Rather than have them freed of this plight and in their mourning state sound and at liberty, I would them dead. But 40,000-fold, we had rather have them prisoners to us than death. Bear them speedily from our kind heir to them unkind, and minister what man to man may do. For our sake more, since I have known frights, fury, friends, behests, love's provocations, zeal, a mistress's task, desire, liberty, a fever, madness, hath set a mark which nature could not reach to, without some imposition, sickness in will, or wrestling strength in reason. For our love and great Apollo's mercy, all our best, their best skill tender. Lead into the city, where, having bound things scattered, we will post to Athens for our army.
Act 1, Scene 5. Another part of the Theban field. Enter the queens with the hearses of their knights in a funeral procession.
Arms and orders bring away, people sighs talk in the day. Our dull or deadly looks when dying. Bones and guns and heavy cheers, sacred vials filled with tears, and clamors through the wild air flying. Come, sad and solemn shows, that our quick-eyed pleasures falls. We're convent, not else but walls. We convent, not else but walls.
This funeral path brings to your household's grave. Joy seize on you again. Peace sleep with him.
And this to yours.
Yours this way. Heavens lend 1,000 differing ways to one sure end.
This world's a city full of straying streets, and death's the marketplace where each one meets.
Act 2, Scene 1. Athens, a garden outside of the prison. Enter jailer and wooer. I may depart with little while I live. Something I may cast to you, not much. Alas, the prison I keep, though it be for great ones, yet they seldom come. Before one salmon you shall take a number of minnows. I'm given out to be better lined than it could appear to me to report as a true speaker. But I really that I am delivered to be. Mary, what I have, be it what it will, I will assure upon my daughter at the day of my death.
Sir, I demand no more than your own offer, and I will estate your daughter in what I have promised.
Well, we will talk more of this when the solemnity is past. But have you a full promise of her? When that shall be seen, I tender my consent.
I have, sir. Oh, here she comes.
Your friend and I have chanced to name you here upon the old business. But no more of that now. So soon as the court hurry is over, we shall have an end of it. In the meantime, look tenderly to the two prisoners. I can tell you, they are princes.
These stewings are for their chamber. 'Tis pity they are in prison, and for pity they would be out. I do think they have patience to make any adversity ashamed. The prison itself is proud of them, and they have all the world in their chamber.
They are famed to be a pair of absolute men.
By my troth, I think fame but stammers them. They stand agrees above the reach of report.
I heard them reported in the battle to be the only doers.
Nay, most likely, for they are noble stuffers. I marvel how they would have looked had they been victors. That was such a constant nobility and force, a freedom out of bondage, making misery their mirth and affection a toy to jest at.
Do they so?
It seems to me they have no more sense of their captivity than I of ruling Athens. They eat well, look merrily, discourse of many things, but nothing of their own restraint and disasters. Yet sometimes a divided sigh, martyred as 'twere in the deliverance, will break from one of them, when the other presently gives it so sweet a rebuke that I could wish myself a sigh to be so chid, or at least a sire to be comforted.
I never saw him.
Oh, the Duke himself came privately in the night, and so did they. What the reason of it is, I know not. Oh, look yonder they are. That's Archite looks out.
No, sir, no. That's Palamon. Archite is the lower of the twain. You may perceive a part of him.
Well, go to, leave your pointing. They would not make us their object. Get out of their sight.
It is a holiday to look on them. Lord, the difference of men.
Act 2, Scene 2. Inside the prison cell, Palamon and Archite languish.
How do you, noble cousin?
How do you, sir?
Why, strong enough to laugh at misery and bear the chance of war. Yet we are prisoners, I fear, forever, cousin.
I believe it, and to that destiny have patiently laid up my hour to come.
Oh, cousin Archite, where is Thebes now? Where is our noble country? Where are our friends and kindreds? Never more must we behold those comforts, never see the hardy youth strive for the games of honor, hung with the painted favors of their ladies, like tall ships under sail, and start amongst them, and as an east wind leave them all behind us, like lazy clouds, whilst Palamon and Archite, even in the wagging of a wanton leg, outstrip the people's praises, won the garlands ere they have time to wish 'em ours. Oh, never shall we two exercise, like twins of honor, our arms again, and feel our fiery horses like proud seas under us. Our good swords now, better the red-eyed god of war, ne'er war, ravished our sides, like age must run to rust and deck the temples of those gods that hate us. These hands shall never draw 'em out like lightning to blast whole armies more.
No, Palamon. Those hopes are prisoners with us. Here we are, and here the graces of our youths must wither like too timely spring. Here age must find us, and, which is heaviest, Palamon, unmarried. The sweet embraces of a loving wife, laden with kisses, armed with 1,000 cupids, shall never clasp our necks. No issue, no us, no figures of ourselves shall we e'er see. To be glad our age, like young eagles, teach 'em boldly to gaze against bright arms and say, remember what your fathers were and conquer. The fair-eyed maid shall weep our banishments, and in their songs curse ever-blinded fortune, till she for shame sees what a wrong she has done to youth and nature. This is all our world. We shall know nothing here but one another, hear nothing but the clock that tells our woes. The vine shall grow, but we shall never see it. The summer shall come, and with her all delights, but dead cold winter must inhabit here still.
'Tis too true, Archite. To our Theban hounds that shook the aged forest with their echoes, no more now must we halloo. No more shake our pointed javelins, whilst the angry swine flies like a Parthian quiver from our rages, struck with our well-steeled darts. All valiant uses, the food and nourishment of noble minds in us too here shall perish. We shall die, which is the curse of honor. Lastly, children of grief and ignorance.
Yet, cousin, even from the bottom of these miseries, from all that fortune can inflict upon us, I see two comforts rising, two mere blessings, if the gods please. To behold here a brave patience, and the enjoying of our griefs together, whilst Palamon is with me, let me perish, if I think this is our prison.
Certainly, 'tis a main goodness, cousin, that our fortunes were twined together. 'Tis most true, two souls put in two noble bodies. Let them suffer the gall of hazard, so they grow together, will never sink. They must not, say they could. A willing man dies sleeping, and all's done.
Shall we make worthy uses of this place that all men hate so much?
How, gentle cousin?
Let's think this prison holy sanctuary, to keep us from the corruption of worse men. We are young, and yet desire the ways of honor that liberty and common conversation, but poison of pure spirits, might like women woo us to wander from. What worthy blessing can be but our imaginations, and make it ours? And here, being thus together, we are an endless mind to one another. We are one another's wife, ever begetting the new births of love. We are father, friends, acquaintance. We are, in one another, families. I am your heir, and you are mine. This place is our inheritance. No hard oppressor dare take this from us. Here, with a little patience, we shall live long and loving. No surfeit seek us. The hand of war hurts none here, nor the seas swallow their youth. Were we at liberty, a wife might part us lawfully, or business. Quarrels consume us, or envy of ill men quave our acquaintance. I might sicken, cousin, where you should never know it, and so perish without your noble hand to close mine eyes. Our prayers to the gods, 1,000 chances were we from hence would sever us.
You have made me, I thank you, cousin Archite, almost wanton with my captivity. What a misery it is to live abroad and everywhere. 'Tis like a beast, methinks. I find the court here, I am sure, a more content. And all those pleasures that woo the wills of men to vanity I see through now, and am sufficient to tell the world 'tis but a gaudy shadow that old time as he passes by takes with him. What had we been, old in the court of Creon, where sin is justice, lust and ignorance the virtues of the great ones? Cousin Archite, had not the loving gods found this place for us, we had died as they do, ill old men unwept, and had their epitaphs the people's curses. Shall I say more?
I would hear you still.
You shall. Is there a record of any two that loved better than we do, Archite?
Sure there cannot.
I do not think it possible our friendship should ever leave us.
Till our deaths it cannot. And after our deaths shall be led to those that love eternally. Speak on, sir.
This garden has a world of pleasures in it. What flower is this?
It's called Narcissus, madam.
That was a fair boy certain, but a fool to love himself. Were there not maids enough?
Pray, forward.
Yes.
Or were they all hard-hearted?
They could not be to one so fair.
Thou wouldst not.
I think I should not, madam.
That's a good wench, but take heed to your kindness, though.
Why, madam?
Men are mad things.
Will you go forward, cousin?
Canst thou not work such flowers in silk, wench?
Yes.
I'll have a gown full of them, and these. This is a pretty color. Will it not do rarely upon a skirt, wench?
Dainty, madam.
Cousin, how do you, sir? Why, Palamon.
Ever till now I was in prison, Archite.
Why, what's the matter, man?
Behold, and wonder! By heaven, she is a goddess.
Huh.
Be reverence. She is a goddess, Archite.
Of all flowers, methinks a rose is best.
Why, gentle madam?
It is the very emblem of a maid. For when the west wind courts her gently, how modestly she blows and paints the sun with her chaste blushes. When the north comes near her, rude and impatient, then like chastity she locks her beauties in her bud again and leaves him to base briars.
Yet, good madam, sometimes her modesty will blow so far she falls for it. A maid, if she have any honor, would be loath to take example by her.
Thou art wanton.
She is wondrous fair.
She is all the beauty extant.
The sun grows high. Let's walk in. Keep these flowers. We'll see how near art can come near their colors. I am wondrous merry-hearted. I could laugh now.
I could lie down, I am sure.
And take one with you.
That's as we bargained, madam.
Well, agree then.
What think you of this beauty?
'Tis a rare one.
Is't but a rare one?
Yes, a matchless beauty.
Might not a man well lose himself and love her?
I cannot tell what you have done. I have beshrew mine eyes for it. Now I feel my shackles.
You love her then?
Who would not?
And desire her?
Before my liberty.
I saw her first.
Well, that's nothing.
But it shall be.
I saw her too.
Yes. but you must not love her.
I will not as you do to worship her, as she is heavenly and a blessed goddess. I love her as a woman to enjoy her, so both may love.
You shall not love at all.
Not love at all? Who shall deny me?
I, that first saw her. I that took possession first with mine eye of all those beauties in her revealed to mankind. If thou lovest her, or entertainst a hope to blast my wishes, thou art a traitor, Archite, and a fellow false as thy title to her. Friendship, blood, and all the ties between us I disclaim if thou once think upon her.
Yes, I love her, and if the lives of all my name lay on it, I must do so. I love her with all my soul. If that will lose you, farewell, Palamon. I say again, I love. And in loving her, maintain I am as worthy and as free a lover as have just a title to her beauty as any Palamon or any living that is a man's son.
Have I called thee friend?
Yes, and have found me so. Why are you moved thus? Let me deal coldly with you. Am not I part of your blood? Part of your soul? You have told me that I was Palamon and you were Archite.
Yes.
Am I not liable to those affections, those joys, griefs, angers, fears my friend shall suffer?
You may be.
Why then would you deal so cunningly, so strangely, so unlike a noble kinsman to love alone? Speak truly, do you think me unworthy of her sight?
No, but unjust if thou pursue that sight.
Because another first sees the enemy, shall I stand still and let mine honor down and never charge?
Yes, if he be but one.
But say that one had rather combat me.
Let that one say so, and use thy freedom. Else, if thou pursuest her, be as that cursed man that hates his country, a branded villain.
You are mad.
I must be! Till thou art worthy, Archite, it concerns me. And in this madness, if I hazard thee and take thy life, I deal but truly.
Fie, sir. You play the child extremely. I will love her. I must. I ought to do so, and I dare, and all this justly.
Oh, that now, thy false self and thy friend had but this fortune to be 1 hour at liberty and grasp our good swords in our hands, I would quickly teach thee what 'twere to filch affection from another. Thou art baser in it than a cutpurse. Put but thy head out of this window more, and, as I have a soul, I'll nail thy life to't.
Thou darest not, fool, thou canst not. Thou art feeble. Put my head out. I'll throw my body out and leap the garden when I see her next, and pitch between her arms to anger thee.
No more. The keeper's coming. I shall live to knock thy brains out with my shackles.
Do.
By your leave, gentlemen.
Now, honest keeper?
Lord Archite, you must presently to the Duke. The cause I know not yet.
I'm ready, keeper.
Prince Palamon, I must a while bereave you of your fair cousin's company.
And me too, even when you please, of life. Why is he sent for? It may be he shall marry her. He's goodly, and like enough the Duke hath taken notice both of his blood and body. But his falsehood! Why should a friend be treacherous? If that get him a wife so noble and so fair, let honest men ne'er love again. Once more I would but see this fair one, blessed garden and fruit and flowers more blessed that still blossom as her bright eyes shine on you. Would I were, for all the fortune of my life hereafter, yon little tree, yon blooming apricot. How I would spread and fling my wanton arms in at her window. I would bring her fruit fit for the gods to feed on. Youth and pleasure, still as she tasted, should be doubled on her. And if she be not heavenly, I would make her so near the gods in nature they should fear her. And then I am sure she would love me. How now, keeper? Where's Archite?
Banished. Prince Pirithous obtained his liberty, but nevermore upon his oath and life must he set foot upon this kingdom.
He's a blessed man. He shall see Thebes again, and call to arms the bold young men that, when he bids them charge, fall on like fire. Archite shall have a fortune, if he dare make himself a worthy lover, yet in the field to strike a battle for her, and, if he lose her then, he's a cold coward. How bravely may he bear himself to win her, if he be noble Archite. 1,000 ways! Were I at liberty, I would do things of such a virtuous greatness that this lady, this blushing virgin, should take manhood to her and seek to ravish me.
My lord, for you I have this charge to...
To discharge my life?
Oh, no, but from this place to remove your lordship, the windows are too open.
The devils take 'em that are so envious to me. Prithee, kill me.
And hang for it afterward.
By this good light, had I a sword, I would kill thee.
Hey, my lord.
Thou bringst such pelting, scurvy news continually. Thou art not worthy life. I will not go.
Indeed you must, my lord.
May I see the garden?
No.
Then I am resolved, I will not go.
I must constrain you then. And for your dangerous, I'll clap more irons on you.
Do, good keeper. I'll shake 'em so you shall not sleep. I'll make you a new Morris. Must I go?
There's no remedy.
Farewell, kind window. May rude wind never hurt thee. Oh, my lady, if ever thou hast felt what sorrow was, dream how I suffer. Come, now bury me.
Act 2, Scene 3. The country outside Athens. Enter Archite.
Banish the kingdom. 'Tis a benefit. A mercy I must thank him for, but banish it. The free enjoying of that face I die for, oh, 'twas a studied punishment, a death beyond imagination. Such a vengeance that, were I old and wicked, all my sins could never pluck upon me. Palamon, thou hast the start now. Thou shalt stay and see her bright eyes break each morning 'gainst thy window, and let in life to thee. Thou shalt feed upon the sweetness of a noble beauty, that nature ne'er exceeded nor e'er shall. Good gods, what happiness has Palamon! 20 to 1 he'll come to speak to her, and if she be as gentle as she's fair, I know she's his. He has a tongue will tame tempests, and will make the wild rocks wanton. Come what can come, the worst is death. I will not leave the kingdom. I know mine own is but a heap of ruins, and no redress there. If I go, he has her. I am resolved. Another shape shall make me or end my fortunes. Either way, I'm happy. I'll see her and be near her, or no more.
The masters, I'll be there, that's certain.
And I'll be there.
And I.
Why then, have with you, boys. 'Tis but a chiding. Let the plow play today. I'll tickle it out of the jades tomorrow.
I am sure to have my wife as jealous as a turkey, but that's all one. I'll go through. Let her mumble.
Clap her aboard tomorrow night and stow her, and all's made up again.
Aye, do but put a fescue in her fist, and you shall see her take a new lesson out and be a good wench. Do we all hold against the Maying?
Hold? What should ail us?
Arcus will be there.
And Senois and Ricus, and 3 better lads ne'er danced under green tree. And you know what wenches, ha? But will the dainty Domine, the schoolmaster, keep touch, do you think? For he does all, you know.
He'll eat a hornbook ere he fail. Go to, the matter's too far driven between him and the tanner's daughter to let slip now. And she must see the Duke, and she must dance too.
Shall we be lusty?
All the boys in Athens blow wind in the breach on us. And here I'll be, and there I'll be, for our town, and here again, and there again. Ha, boys, hey for the weavers.
Must be done in the woods.
Pardon me.
By any means, our thing of learning says so, where he himself will edify the Duke most parlously in our behalfs. He's excellent in the woods. Bring him to the plains, his learning makes no cry.
We'll see the sports, then every man to his tackle. And sweet companions, let's rehearse by any means before the ladies see us. And do sweetly, and God knows what may come on't.
Content. The sports once ended, we'll perform. Away, boys, and hold.
By your leaves, honest friends, pray you, whither go you?
Whither? What's a question that?
Yes, 'tis a question. To me that know not.
To the games, my friend.
Where were you bred, you know it not?
Not far, sir. Are there such games today?
Yes, Mary, are there, and such as you never saw. The Duke himself will be in person there.
What pastimes are they?
Wrestling and running. 'Tis a pretty fellow.
Wilt thou not go along?
Not yet, sir.
Well, sir, take your own time. Come, boys!
And mine misgives me. This fellow has a vengeance trick of the hip. Mark how his body's made for it.
I'll be hanged, though, if he dare venture. Hang him, plum porridge. He wrestle? He roast eggs. Come, let's be gone, lads.
This is an offered opportunity I durst not wish for. Well, I could have wrestled. The best men call it excellent, and run swifter than the wind upon a field of corn, curling the wealthy ears never flew. I'll venture, and in some poor disguise be there. Who knows whether my brows may not be girt with garlands, and happiness prefer me to a place where I may ever dwell in the sight of her?
Act 2, Scene 4. A chamber in the prison. Enter jailer's daughter, alone.
Why should I love this gentleman? 'Tis odd, he will never affect me. I am base, my father the mean keeper of his prison, and he a prince. To marry him is hopeless, to be his whore is witless. Out upon it, what pitches are we wenches driven to when 15 once has found us? First, I saw him. I, seeing, thought he was a goodly man. He has as much to please a woman in him, if he pleased to bestow it so as ever these eyes yet look on. Next, I pitied him, and so would any young wench of my conscience that ever dreamed or vowed her maidenhead to some young, handsome man. Then I loved him, extremely loved him, infinitely loved him, and yet he had a cousin, fair as he too, but in my heart was Palamon, and there, Lord, what a coil he keeps. To hear him sing in the evening, what a heaven it is! And yet his songs are sad ones. Fairer spoken was never gentleman. When I come in to bring him water in the morning, first he bows his noble body, then salutes me thus: Fair gentle maid, good morrow, may thy goodness get thee a husband. Once he kissed me, I loved my lips the better 10 days after. He would do so every day. He grieves much, and me as much to see his misery. What should I do to make him know I love him? Would I fain enjoy him, say I ventured to free him? What says the law then? Thus much for law or kindred. I will do it, and this night or tomorrow he shall love me.
Act 2, Scene 5. A pavilion beside the festival grounds. Enter Theseus, Hippolyta, Pirithous, Amelia, and Archite in disguise with a garland.
You have done worthily. I have not seen since Hercules, a man of tougher sinews. Whatever you are, you run the best and wrestle that these times can allow.
I'm proud to please you.
What country bred you?
This, but far off, Prince.
Are you a gentleman?
My father said so, and those gentle uses gave me life.
Are you his heir?
His youngest, sir.
Your father sure is a happy sire, then. What proves you?
A little of all noble qualities. I could have kept a hawk, and well have hallowed to the deep cry of dogs. I dare not praise my feat in horsemanship, yet they that know me would say it was my best piece. Last and greatest, I would be thought a soldier.
You are perfect.
Upon my soul, a proper man.
He is so.
How do you like him, lady?
I admire him. I have not seen so young a man so noble, if he say true of his sort.
Believe, his mother was a wondrous handsome woman. His face, methinks, goes that way.
But his body and fiery mind illustrate a brave father.
Mark how his virtue, like a hidden sun, breaks through his baser garments.
He's well got, sure.
What made you seek this place, sir?
Noble Theseus, to purchase name and do my ablest service to such a well-found wonder as thy worth. For only in thy court of all the world dwells fair-eyed honor.
All his words are worthy.
Sir, we are much indebted to your travel, nor shall you lose your wish. Pirithous, dispose of this fair gentleman.
Thanks, Theseus. Whate'er you are, you're mine, and I shall give you to a most noble service to this lady, this bright young virgin. Pray, observe her goodness. You have honored her fair birthday with your virtues, and as your due, you're hers. Kiss her fair hand, sir.
Sir, you're a noble giver. Dearest beauty, let me thus seal my vowed faith. When your servant, your most unworthy creature, but offends you, command him to die, and he shall.
That were too cruel. If you deserve well, sir, I shall soon see it. You're mine, and somewhat better than your rank, I'll use you.
I'll see you furnished, and because you say you are a horseman, I must needs entreat you this afternoon to ride. But 'tis a rough one.
I like him better, Prince. I shall not then freeze in my saddle.
Sweet, you must be ready, and you, Amelia, and you, friend, and all, tomorrow by the sun to do observance to flowery May in Dian's wood. Wait well, sir, upon your mistress. Emily, I hope he shall not go afoot.
That were a shame, sir, while I have horses. Take your choice, and what you want at any time, let me but know it. If you serve faithfully, I dare assure you, you'll find a loving mistress.
If I do not, let me find that my father ever hated disgrace and blows.
Go and lead the way. You have won it. It shall be so. You shall receive all dues fit for the honor you have won. 'Twere wrong else. Sister, beshrew my heart, you have a servant that if I were a woman would be master. But you are wise.
I hope too wise for that, sir.
Act 2, Scene 6. The forest edge outside of the prison. Enter jailer's daughter, alone.
Let all the dukes and all the devils roar. He is at liberty. I have ventured for him, and out I have brought him to a little wood, a mile hence I have sent him, where a cedar higher than all the rest spreads like a plain fast by a brook, and there he shall keep close till I provide him files and food, for yet his iron bracelets are not off. Oh, love, what a stout-hearted child thou art! My father durst better have endured cold iron than done it. I love him beyond love and beyond reason or wit or safety. I have made him know it. I care not, I am desperate. If the law find me and then condemn me for it, some wenches, some honest-hearted mates will sing my dirge and tell to memory my death was noble, dying almost a martyr. That way he takes, I purpose is to my way too. Sure, he cannot be so unmanly as to leave me here. If he do, maids will not so easily trust men again. And yet, he has not thanked me for what I have done. No, not so much as kissed me. And that, methinks, is not so well, nor scarcely could I persuade him that he became a free man. He made such scrupulous of the wrong he did to me and my father. Yet, I hope, when he considers more, this love of mine will take root within him. Let him do what he will with me, so he will use me kindly. For use me so he shall, or I'll proclaim him, and to his face no man. I'll presently provide him necessities, and pack my clothes up, and where there is path of ground I'll venture, so he be with me. By him, like a shadow, I'll ever dwell. Within this hour, the hubbub will be all over the prison. I am then kissing the man they look for. Farewell, father. Yet many more such prisoners and such daughters, and shortly you may keep yourself. Now, to him.